How many of you are interested to bring back the sparkles in your relationship? Thank you. How many of you think you already have the best relationship there is? Thank you. How many of you are totally not interested in this at all? Thank you. My name is Katie Hendricks and I'm here to talk about how to bring back those sparkles in your relationship. But first of all, I really would like to acknowledge you for being here and listening to me, because we all have these busy schedules and I'm sure you have too. And you still took the time to be here and listen to me, and I really value that. So I'm going to do my utmost to make it worthwhile for you. Is that okay? Okay. In this webinar, what you will learn are three things. The first one is how to overcome irritations, frustrations in your relationship. How many of you can relate that we have frustrations and irritations sometimes in our relationships? Yes, thank you. What's so good about learning to overcome those irritations and frustrations is that there is no shit between you anymore. I will come back later to this shit. What you will learn also, the second one, is how to value your relationship together. What's so good about that is that the sparkles will be back. The third thing you will learn is how to spend with a maximum of 5 minutes one-on-one with each other. And what's so good about that is that there will be more connection between the both of you, more love. The investment of those three things are only 10 minutes, 3 times a week. And the return on that investment is your relationship will go through the roof. How many of you would like to have that? Thank you. Well, since we're spending some time together, is it okay that I introduce myself to you? Thank you. I am married now for 13 years. As I can say myself, I have a fantastic relationship now. But it wasn't always like that, because I have been married and divorced before this relationship. And I have to tell you that I really sucked in that relationship. I didn't have a clue what to do and how to keep the relationship good. Okay, I was inexperienced, I was young, but still I had no clue at all. Now in this relationship, I do have. Why? Well, because 12 years ago, I got my son Thijs, and I love him dearly. But also the world changed. It looked different to me, like the world looks dangerous to me. Every day on television, I see those horrible things, people doing it to each other, hitting each other, calling each other names, telling lies, even killing each other. And I'm scared that one day Thijs will not return home. Who of you can relate to this too? That you fear sometimes that your kid doesn't return home? Yes, thank you. And that you think the world has gone mad. Thank you. And I thought, if there's just one thing I can do to make this world a better place for our son and ourselves, I will do it. So that's why I started to study everything there is about relationships, communication, and how to connect between people. And I became a trainer and a coach in this. And I really, really, really believe that when people connect much more than we do right now, that we will see the person as he is or she is. We don't only see the outside, but we see the inside. We don't see only the outside, the way we communicate, for instance, but we really see the inside of the person, the good of that person, the love of that person, the intention of that person. And I really believe that if we do it like that, the world will be a better place. Because then there's much more respect for each other, much more understanding for each other. Then we know what a other person went through in his life, for instance, or is going through right now. So that is why I do what I do. Now, who of you recognize that I ask a lot of questions? Who of you already get irritated of all those questions? Who of you get already tired of raising the arm every time? Thank you. The reason I do this is not because to treat you as a 5 years old, but because, and I share my screen with you, One moment. I do this because relationships requires energy. So what does relationship requires? Energy, yes. A lot of energy, actually. So what do they require? Energy, yes. In a relationship, the person with the highest energy wins. Who can relate to that? Yes. Parents in this webinar, when your kid comes to you with high energy, who wins? Yes, the kid, of course. Who can relate to that? Yes, thank you. There is even scientific research that shows this. It shows that when people are awake, they learn much more when they are asleep. Listen, when I start my presentation like this, hello, my name is Katie Hendricks. I'm here to talk about to bring back the sparkles in your relationship. I have 175 PowerPoint slides to show this. Then what would you have been, then you would have been gone already, right? Yes, right. So it's okay that I ask you a lot of questions. Okay, the energy stays high then too. Okay, cool, thank you. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is this. What's this? A cup, yes. What do we normally do with this cup? We pour something in. Yes, for instance, tea, coffee, milk, whatever. And we call that the content of the cup. And in a relationship, we almost actually talk only about the content. The daily things we do, the groceries, walking the dog, the garbage. What do you know more what we talk about in relationships? Yes, indeed. Also about the kids and the holidays. Those are nice subjects, but it's only practical. For instance, I will give you another example. In a company, then the content is sales, human research, customers, the people, money. That everything is content. The cup itself, the outside, is the context. This is what keeps everything together. This keeps the content together. But when there will be a crack in the cup, what will happen then? Yes. When it happens in a company, what happens? They go bankruptcy. When it happens in a relationship, what does happen then? A divorce most of the time, yes. So the context, it's way, way, way more important than the content, than what we talk about actually. The context, for instance, and that's one thing I want to mention today, is the rules, for instance, the code of honor, as we call it. Because when, at a certain point, when you are in a relationship and you have difficult times, then the code of honor, the rules, make sure that there will be no break in the context, in the cup. And the relationship stays okay, stays fine. Nothing happens because you have this code of honor. So in relationships, if you only take this one, that the context is much, much, much more important than the content. If you take this only from this webinar, I'm glad. So I have another thing for you, which I want to talk about. And that is, I will show you, I will share my screen again. One moment. Where is it? Here. One moment, sorry. Takes a little bit. I'm not used to do this all the time. So this is what I want to share with you. This is our model, and with our 4 stones in it. I will explain in a moment, okay? So you can see here, as I show you, I don't know if you see my cursor, but here's mindset, basics, tools, and future. The rest, if you can't read it, no problem. I will just stop sharing my screen and I will start explaining. One moment. Yes. Okay, so I want to take you from a mediocre, okay relationship to an amazing and passionate relationship. When it comes to having a relationship, it comes down to 4 things. I just already mentioned them to you, but I will talk you through a little bit. The first one is mindset. I want to take you in your mindset from helpless to powerful. Why do I say helpless? Because a lot of times, and perhaps you recognize this, we have those voices in our heads. They're talking to us like, well, he wasn't that nice to me. He should apologize to me. Recognize that? That sometimes you think that instead of going to the other person and just start a conversation about it and say, I didn't like what you did. Let's talk about, is it your intention, for instance, to hurt me? This is already a tip, actually, how to do it. But it's about the mindset. So those are the little voices in your head talking to you. It's also called ego. But those things and those little voices talking to you, how many can relate to that you have those little voices? I have, well, I don't know how you say it in English, but I have 10, I think. I have a whole choir of it. So thank you. So we're going to talk about those little voices in your relationships. And we will not stop them because that's not possible. It's always there. But we will show you ways how to deal with them and how to make them work for you. Is that interesting for you? Okay, thank you. So the number 2, so that's the mindset is this, so that I want to take you in your mindset from helpless to powerful, that you can use everything you think, for instance, and not working against you. The second thing in this relationship heart are the basics, the foundation. And every good relationship has to have the basics. What I mean by that is a very basic understanding on the needs, wants, and desires of both people in the relationship. It is crucial for the relationship, actually. And for the most people in a bad relationship, it is in chaos right now. And it is a huge misunderstanding of, there's a huge misunderstanding of what happens and what are the rules. What do we do in those cases when there is shit? And what we want to do to take you to a successful relationship where there is no longer chaos, but it is structured. Who would like to have that? Thank you. And for the people out there think, structure in my relationship and there's no spontaneity anymore. There is, when you do this, there is way more space for your spontaneity. I guarantee you. Yes. But perhaps it doesn't look like that. I myself thought also, when there are rules and everything is just talked about, it's not, I don't like it. But actually, when I have it now in the last years, it is, and I want you to have that too. So the third one in this relationship heart, the next thing that all successful relations have are tools. And what I mean by tools are techniques that you can do and techniques that you can use when things go wrong, for instance. Basically, to leave no miscommunications or any conflicts. Conflicts are gonna happen. That's life. And most conflicts come through miscommunications. We didn't understand each other well. We didn't get what the other person actually meant to say. We all people listen in their own ways. And there are 4 ways to listen to it. And those 4 ways are different. And when you have different ways of listening, you cannot hear each other very well. So, but if you have the right tools, then the relationships aren't going, then relationships are going well, are quite rudderless, okay? If your relationship is not going that well and you don't have the right tools, you're quite rudderless. You feel like you're in the ocean, and any mood change takes you completely out of course. And all of a sudden you're going the wrong way, the wrong direction. You don't want to go there. You don't want to cheat on your partner or your partner cheating on you. And you don't even know why the mood changes are there. You don't know how to get back on course. But when you have the right tools, you suddenly get control back. So that's why we talk about tools, and you get a lot of tools. And the fourth thing, the other thing that really successful relationships have, they all have a future. And what I mean by that is a future plan, and there's accountability. Now, you might have understand the basics, you might have understand what they want, the other persons, and you might have understand the tools that you can use. But every relationship needs to have a future. Why would you be with somebody if there's no future together? So most couples who aren't in a good relationship, they don't have a future. It's almost if there's no hope. And that might be you at this moment. You might be in this point of time that you have almost ran out of hope. Is it you? Thank you for your honesty. There's almost no future that you see with your partner. There's nothing keeping you together. And I want to take you from hopeless to exceptional, to incredible. And it is possible, even when you don't see it. It is possible. I want an exceptional future for you. And the way we deliver this, we deliver it in trainings, in our coachings, and we work that you get tools. We work on your mindset by sharing, for instance. We work with music, and we do a lot of games so that you get experiences and you can see how it is working with you and what you can do differently. Because the only way to change things in your life is by experience. Reading books is good. It's good for the understanding part, but you also need experiences because you have two parts in your brain, the left side and the right side, and the one is by reading, listening, but the other one is by experiencing, by colors, by it's the creative part. So you need experiences and of course learning, and we both fit those together. Now, I am going to give you some tips already that you can immediately imply in your relationships. Who would like to have that? Great, thanks. The first one is about irritations and frustrations. Never, ever leave or ignore irritations and frustrations longer than 1, 2, 3 days, a couple of days max. Why would you think I would say this? Why is it so important not to leave or ignore irritations and frustrations? Here I come back to the shit part I just mentioned in the beginning. Because there happens something you don't like, but you think, hey, okay, it's the first time it happened, so I will not say anything about it. Just let's keep it friendly together. But that thing which you try to ignore or deny is there. And then another thing happens and you don't talk about it. And another thing happens and another thing happens. And at a certain moment you get irritated a bit. And then another thing happens and you start talking about it, but not in a very good way. Like you start kind of a discussion, or you start a fight, for instance. You always do it like this. I don't like it. Stop doing. It's not very constructive, as you can see. So all those shitty things are piling up and up and up. And at a certain moment, there is this whole pile of shit between you. As you can see, if the shit is there between you, you only see the shit and not the other person anymore. And when you don't speak about it, it will stay there and it will become higher and higher and shittier and shittier. And you think you ignore it, but actually they are still there, as I just showed you. And how does it look in real life is that those are your little voices again. It's in your head, you know it. And I will talk in my trainings about those little voices, as I just taught you. That's too broad for now. But perhaps you recognize that you say to yourself, okay, I will ignore this. He's not having a good day, just leave it. But the second and the third one, you say, see, he's doing it again and again and again. And at a certain point, you tell yourself, this has to stop. And then you start a fight. But because you ignored the first 5, 6, 10 times or 100 times, you directly start a fight. Instead of starting with the first one to immediately talk about it. And then you can be quiet and just at ease and peace when you talk about it. And those are your little voices. I hope you have a good example now about your little voices. So we cannot ignore it. It's always there. And every time that there happens something, it is there. And it's adding and adding and adding. Okay. Let's see. Because when there is shit, I have a solution how to, or a tip how to overcome those shitty things and to really clean your slate between you. Now, when would you do this, you think? Yes, when you're at ease, when you're not angry indeed or pissed. So when you're relaxed and okay to talk about it. And I advise you to do it once a week. When there's a lot of shit things, you do it every day in the beginning. After a while, you can go back to once a week. You will feel it. When it's piling up again, you start doing it every day again. And when it's okay, once a week is okay. And it's a two steps system. The purpose is to clear the air between you. And you have two things to ask. So you sit together, the whole family, also the kids can be there. And there are two rounds. And the first round is that you tell each other what don't work at that moment. So the first round is that you tell each other what you didn't like that the other person did. But there are some rules. No talking, only listening. No discussion, no saying, I didn't do that, or you misunderstood, or whatever. You can only ask a question if it's not clear, but no discussion, no talking about, just listening. And for the person who is talking, a tip, talk about, I didn't like this. I didn't like that you didn't put the garbage outside. Now we cannot put our garbage in it and it's becoming a mess. And the cats are damaging the bags next to the garbage can. What I suggest, that's the second step in this round. You give a suggestion. What I suggest is to you to put an alarm in your phone to remember yourself to put the garbage outside. So this is the first round. And how it is going, that all participants first do this round and then you continue to the second part. Okay, so one person goes and tell what he didn't like about that person or that person, what didn't work for that person. It's not about didn't like, but what didn't work for you. What didn't work for me is A, B, C, D. My suggestion is A, B, C, D. Then goes the next person, does the same, next person does the same. And if you don't have anything, what didn't work for you, you just say, there's nothing. That's all okay too, of course. Now the second round is also the same. Everybody goes one by one and tells what is working. So the second round is about what is working. And you can tell everybody everything you did liked. And people can repeat it. So there's an addition to the first one. In the first round, you don't have to repeat what is already told. What didn't work for me is that there is a mess outside because of the garbage bin. So the second person also thinks about it like that, says, has been said. But in the second round, you can repeat everything what you did like, what did work for you, you repeat. Because why? Yes, of course, it is nice to hear what other people liked about you, or what happened, what liked. So it is nice to hear. So everybody repeats. Okay, so also the kids can join, and it's a very good example for them actually. And you will see when you do this, that after a couple of times using this two-step system, the relationship will start to change. It's not adding up anymore. On the contrary, it's becoming less and less and less. And it brings back the sparkles actually, because you can see each other again. And actually, your partner is a pretty good guy or girl. Won't you agree? Yes, thanks. So, another one what brings back the sparkles is give each other compliments. As much as possible, but minimum 5. Sit every day and tell what you really love about that other person. What he did, or what the intention of that person's are, or what you like about that person. It can be anything. At least 5. And the purpose is to value your relationship together. to show what you really like and love in your relationship with each other. So sit with each other, turn off all phones, televisions, kids, turn everything off. And the way it's going to be is the first person is starting and going to give the compliments to one person to the next person, because also this you can do with your kids. Don't switch them off, of course, it was a joke, but join them. Let them join, and they can see the examples, and you will. It's amazing what happens then. The kids are very good in it, actually. So one person starts, give compliments to one person, to the other, to the other, to the other, and then the second person goes and give compliments to those, and all the other persons, and the third and fourth, and so on. So, I will give you an example. My partner, for instance, I can tell him, I really admire you for the way you are focused and committed to make your job working. That's a compliment, for instance. But it can also be, I love that you took care of the kids today so that I could sleep an hour longer. I love it. Thank you. So you do this every single day. It will only cost you a couple of minutes, because at a certain point it will be strange in the beginning and perhaps not that easy to come up with 5 compliments for each person. But a tip in this, it helps when you just think about what happened today and what did I like in this day that the other person did for me or did in general. And that's a compliment already. I can tell you, and I can tell you from my own experience how it works for me, giving compliment to each other is doing really, really, really good for the sparkles in your relationship. If you do only this one thing, the compliments, and not the other stuff I just tell you, it will bring your relationship going through the roof. Because how lovely and sweet is it that you get compliments from your partner and your kids? And it is very good for the passion between both of you. Okay. Well, the last one is just a simple one, but it's really powerful. And it's awesome because it connects on a different level. The other 2 were about talking. It was practical stuff. This one is on a different level. This is on an emotional level, which is 10 times stronger than the spoken word. Research shows that you're getting healthier and it reduces stress, actually. And the emotional connections are trust and gratitude, which results in connection between both of you. So, you want to know how? Okay, I will tell you. You sit together, no radio, no phone, this time no kids, no nothing. You sit opposite each other, facing each other. And you set a timer for 3 minutes. You sit, set a timer, and then you look each other in the eyes. And that's it for 3 minutes. And you look friendly, not like looking at all the wrinkles there are. You look friendly, you smile, for instance. And what you also can do, it's a bonus, you think about all the things you're grateful for with your partner or in your family. And can be compliments or what did work today, or the simple small things your partner does for you. You can think about it too. Perhaps it makes it easier to keep eye contact. If it distracts you, don't do it, just look at each other. You can start with 1 minute and build it up to 3. Sometimes in the beginning it's a bit strange and giggly or strange again. But I guarantee you, I really guarantee you that when you do those 3 things I just gave you, it will set your relationship upside down. In a positive way, of course. It will make a difference. There will be more love, more happiness, more peace, more sex, more passion, more everything. And your kids get such a good example from the both of you. And that's almost the best part of it. Oh, just one addition. Because the eye contact you can of course do with your kids, but then you do it separate after each other, not together. Do it, really take time for each other. So that's almost about it. I want to offer you, if you want, that's another tip perhaps, because we're all busy with normal things. We have these stressy things about keeping all things together in family, in work. So if you want, you can go to my website and to the link here, which you see here, and you can get a free day planner. It will help you coordinate everything and have ease and peace during the day. And when you're not stressed, actually, you have time and everything is clear in your head, then there is also much more time and space for each other and for the love to each other. It will really, really help. So if you want this, you can just send me a message, go to this link, and I will send you the free day planner. It comes actually with explanation and 3 more tips in it. So that's it for today. Love to see you back. Love to see you getting my day planner. And perhaps at another time, visit the website, it's also possible. And thank you for today. Enjoy the other webinars. See you.